Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're having a look at the Battle Pass vehicles, and this time it is looking at the IL-8. This is the free Battle Pass vehicle in the next season, Season 14, which starts tomorrow, and as you can see, it's for the USSR. It is rank 3 and also battle rating 3.7. Now, this vehicle may look similar to others that you may know, and that's because it is. This is a kind of, I suppose, a way of trying to make the IL-2 better. They added a new engine, they added some armor, and also they improved its secondary loadouts. It never really went anywhere though, and instead obviously you had the IL-10 series and also some others even after it. So the vehicle has a lot of similar stuff to the IL-2. It has the 23mm that you can see here, the YVA, or sorry, the VYA 23s, which are really good, especially at ground pounding in aerialistic. You also have the two 7.62mm Shikasses, which are a good backup, especially in dogfights at close range. You have a turret on the back with the UBK gun, so I believe that's the 12.7. Kind of odd how it isn't actually set. Maybe it's going to be a different one compared to the norm. But yeah, that one's there too. And then of course you have the pilot, the gunner, the fuel tank. And then we come to the first change of this vehicle compared to the IL-2s. It has the Mikulin AM42 engine. This one actually has way more power than the standard engines. You can see that the takeoff power of 2,000 horsepower on the one itself. So with this additional power, you may think, oh, well, maybe it has better flight performance, right? Maybe it should fly a little bit better than the earlier IL-2s, which are quite maneuverable, but do lose energy pretty quick, right? Especially in a few turns. Well, one of the things that happens with the IL-8 is not just the fact it gets an uprated engine, it also adds a ton of weight. And this weight is in the form of armor and also different loadouts. So you can see here it has some 4mm on the top of it, but of course you're going to be ground pounding or ground striking, so the bottom armor makes more of a difference. You have 6mm on the front here, 5mm on the base, and then below where the pilot is, once again 5mm around in kind of like this tub setup. You know how the A10 has this tub around the pilot? It seems like the IL-8 has a similar setup. It isn't as thick as a lot of other things, but it has enough to be able to stop such like HE rounds, especially since you have a bunch of different like layers of armor here, which stuff can get stuck on. You also have the bulletproof glass, which is 64mm, and also for the turret on the back you do also have some armor as well, meaning that the pilot is more survivable from the back, but also the turret tier I suppose is also pretty defended. So yeah, there's a lot of additional weight on this thing to make it probably have the same flight characteristics as the IL-2. We're going to have to see, you know, as it comes out and also as it's used. I feel like a lot of people are going to use this thing in ground forces, in naval forces. So the flight characteristics don't matter too much because of course, the airborne and going into battle. So where else is it different? Well, the 23s are exactly the same. You have the armored target belts, which do pen quite a lot, meaning that it can be very useful against a lot of vehicles. Since this is 3.7, you'll face a lot of stuff like Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, and Shermans. You can top down them very easily with this round and do a lot of damage to them. The turret has access to the standard belts, so once again can penetrate quite a lot, but also at the same time can do quite a lot of damage to other planes. What I find with the turret is it's very good at knocking out engines, just because you can get through the armor and just kind of annihilate stuff. So you can usually trade one for one with these types of things. And then also the Shikasses, they're not going to have a lot of penetration, but they do have a really good fire rate and also can cause quite a lot of fires on machines, which is quite nice. Now, you may be kind of weirded out by the fact that the modifications are like this. I wouldn't worry about it. It is a premium vehicle, so you will get access to all of the modifications for free, just like all premium vehicles, apart from the starter ones. This one is kind of set up like a starter one right now, which is a bit odd. But the other thing is the rewards. So the rewards may not seem too high. And the kind of reason is they nerf strike aircraft rewards pretty aggressively a little bit ago, probably because people were just using them to ground pound and they felt like they were making too much SL and too much RP, which sucks at the end of the day, but c'est la vie, that's kind of how all of this stuff goes, right? You have circles of when things are easy to grind with and when things aren't. It also gets the 95 octane fuel, which is really surprising. So that gives it a lot more engine power than many other vehicles that are around. Remember that the engine that I showed there is without all of these upgrades. So it's going to have a lot more bang as well. The major addition in the form of the secondary armaments is the 500 kilo bomb. Now, if these are dropped independently, which they were in the trailer of the vehicle, this means that this will have pretty much 2 guaranteed destructions, which are pretty cool. And I feel like with these types of 500 kilo bombs, you can do a lot of damage in ground or even in naval forces. They do give you the AP ones if you really feel like it, and also you can bring more bombs if you want in the form of the 100 kilo bombs and also the 50s as well. But I feel most people are just going to use these, get 2 quick kills, and then just annihilate somebody with the guns. And that Battle Pass challenge that they've set up is going to be super easy to do, plus other things as well. So for me, the IL-8 is looking really good from a cast point of view. It doesn't have any additional camos, which kind of sucks, but I will just show you what it would look like in what I would class as its like full out, you know, gung-ho setup. So it does have a minimum fuel load of 20 minutes, which I think is pretty good. I don't think you're going to last longer than 20 minutes, so generally that's okay. But look how big the engine is on the front of this thing. It does look kind of odd at the end of the day. And also, the cockpit is fully modeled, which is kind of cool. Looks very similar to the IL-2 one, so it probably even is just the IL-2 one at the same time. So, the real question about a vehicle like this is how does it do with this additional amount of weight on it, not just in the form of ordnance, but in the form of armor? Is it able to actually keep up with a lot of the other vehicles around the place? Because at 3.7... there is a really, really nice Soviet lineup. And if this thing can be used to bring it into rank 3, kind of like how the LA5 is set up to bring it into rank 3 too, you can use it for events, you can use it for, you know, fun, you can use it for a bunch of different things and for grinding. And this one stinks of a vehicle like that. By the way, if you didn't know, on the lower test drive, you know, for planes for the USSR, there's actually a train on it. So, yeah, it exists over here, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, you can, if you feel like it, you can commit a war crime because it's on your side. But the turning is, well, yeah, the turning is obviously quite heavy, especially with the additional bombs. But the idea is you use this in a ground setting, so you want to set up on targets, take them out, and then you want to dogfight with it. That's the strength of stuff like the IL-10. That's the strength of stuff like the other vehicles. So you can drop 2 bombs, destroy 2 targets, and then you can now dogfight. So without the bombs, it is a lot more flexible. It's a lot more easier to push around the air, and also it does have combat flaps as well, which means it should be easier to use. So for me, when looking at a vehicle like this, you know, I feel like it's probably slightly low in BR compared to where I would put it, maybe 4.0, 4.3, just because of its ability to nuke 2 ground vehicles and then also, you know, follow up with the 23mm, which are going to be really good. But the flight performance is okay. Like, it's just like very similar to a lot of the other IL-2s. The additional weight doesn't really hit it too much, and you can obviously push it around pretty aggressively with the elevator. The only issue this thing's going to have is accelerating up to a speed to be able to pull the maneuvers, and that's not going to be the easiest thing to do, especially with a bomb load. I feel a lot of people are just going to use this for basic grinding though, and for that, the vehicle is good. This one will serve people very well. It's one of those which is, you know, pretty standard to use and also gives you a good CAS option in everything. For me, it's kind of a perfect event vehicle in a way, because you have standard ones in the tech tree, which are very similar, and also you can just get an additional one here, which you can use for different stuff. So, for me, that's pretty cool. You can see there a little bit more of the good old IL-2 maneuverability. Yeah, hopefully people enjoy this one. For me, I think it's a good one, and everything seems to work on it too. Probably because it's just the standard IL-2. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.